All right, what's going on, guys? I'm kind of happy that social media wasn't at the level that it is now when I was a little bit younger, because I know for a fact I would have been posting some just awful stuff. I don't think I would have been posting any cringe TikToks or anything like that. Like, that's never really been my style, but I know my old tweets would have been so terrible, especially considering the time period. Think like 2010. I was just saying anything. Y'all saw a little bit of that back in the day, of course. But that being said, there is just absolutely no chance I'm ever posting anything like this video that we're about to look at today, man. TikTok is a very strange place. There's a lot of good content on there, useful content even. It can actually be, quite helpful at times. But there's also a lot of very crazy people that now have very easily accessible content that they could make. There's no real barrier to entry on TikTok, right? You just need a phone. That's it. Making a YouTube video is a little different. Streaming is definitely different. There's a little bit more investment you need to put into it. But TikTok, like, everyone has a phone, you know what I mean? So a lot of the crazies start exposing themselves to the world because I guess they just don't realize that they're insane until, other people see it and tell them, right? So I'm not going to give too much context for the video. It's only like 30 seconds. Disclaimer, just prepare yourselves. It is a very strange video. I really felt uncomfortable watching it. I don't know what's wrong with these people, but I'll let you see for yourself.
Actually like to pay for the person behind me. Today is National Day of Remembrance for homicide victims, and my husband was brutally killed. So I just wanted to give some love today, and I hope that, if anybody that you lost, and I feel like there is somebody, and she's watching you. She's watching you all the time, and she loves you. So this is for the people behind me. I know. I actually record these things. Can you say hi to people? This is Trinity. Thank you for being so kind. We need more kindness.
I'm telling you, I genuinely felt uncomfortable watching that video. And I'm not even there. I'm watching through a fucking screen. I can't even imagine how weird you made the employees feel. There's like, 10 different things to address here. First of all, just in general, like, what is wrong with you? Why would you even do this? This might be one of the most insane trauma dumps that I've ever seen. Just completely unprovoked. And that's just assuming that it's a true story. I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt and assume that this is true. If this story is fake, this woman needs to just be locked up in a mental institution immediately. But aside from it being absolutely insane, I actually want to break down a couple things of what happened here. Apparently the story here is, I guess it was like National Homicide Remembrance Day or something. I'm sorry, I have never heard of that, like, no offense. But this lady's husband was apparently, in her own words, brutally killed. I'm not even quite sure what she means by that. That could mean a few different things. It sounds terrible, but that's kind of a fucking insane way to even describe that to someone. You know what I mean? Like, just a random stranger, you telling them that? Like, that's absurd. But I guess because of that, she decided today to go to Starbucks and do a good deed, and her good deed of the day was to pay for the person behind her in line. And then, of course, as you know, she obviously has to film this good deed for TikTok to share it with everyone. There's just so many issues already, and we just started the breakdown, right? Like, number one, it kind of really ruins any authenticity behind this gesture when you record it and then put a sad song on it and then, like, cry on TikTok. Like, it just doesn't feel genuine anymore. It just feels very weird. And number two, the gesture itself is just so silly. Like, it just doesn't even make sense. Like, what's the correlation? Your husband was killed, so you went to Starbucks and paid for someone's drink. I don't get how that makes any sense. It just seems like, you were looking for an excuse to go film a TikTok for some internet attention, and using your husband's brutal killing is kind of insane to me. And also, side note, I just want to go on a little rant here. I think this whole trend of paying for the person behind you's food in the drive-thru is absurd. I mean, does it even count as a good deed? Like, first first of all, they obviously have the money to pay for it, or they wouldn't be there and they wouldn't have ordered it. It's not like you're going and feeding a homeless person or someone who was gonna starve. You're paying for someone's food that was already gonna eat it and pay for it regardless. So it seems kind of pointless to me. Number two, the idea behind it is that like, oh, you're supposed to pass it on, right? It's supposed to be like a never-ending train. Like, you know, someone pays for yours, you pay for the person behind you. It keeps going. Listen, man, I am taking my free food and I'm leaving. I'm stopping the train because honestly, if you look at it from a numbers standpoint, it just doesn't make sense for me to participate in this. If I go get food at the drive-thru, I'm probably gonna spend like on average like $15 maybe. Now, what's the obesity rate in America? Like what, 40%? So now there's a 40% chance that there's some 350-pound blob behind me who just ordered $50 worth of food. In fact, if they're in the drive-thru, I would estimate that the chances go up. So it's more than 40%, probably 50% chance. So now I just paid $50 for my $15 worth of food so Tubby back there could eat for free. Or even worse, it's a whole family. Now I just paid like $100 so mommy and daddy and the fucking 3 kids can all have a combo. Like, I'm not doing that. The numbers just ain't in my favor, okay? I'm not participating in your silly little game. I just wanted to throw that in there. It's not really relevant to the situation. Back to the breakdown. So here comes like the real insane part. I actually cannot believe she did this. So she explains to the employee that, you know, it's National Homicide Day or whatever. So she's gonna pay for the $15 overpriced coffee of the person behind her in tribute to her husband or whatever. I don't know. But here comes the fucking absurd part. Like, it was pretty weird up until this, but pretty standard TikTok cringe attention-seeking behavior that you see all the time. But then she says to the employee that she feels like there is somebody that the employee lost as well. And then she goes on to say that this dead person is now watching over the employee as well. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? So, like, I'm just trying to understand what's going on here. You just told this random ass girl at Starbucks that one of her family members was brutally murdered as well. Where the fuck did that come from? I don't know. And now this dead family member is watching over her. Like, what the fuck am I hearing, man? Like, where did that even come from? Like, what an insane thing to just throw on somebody like that. Like, it was just part of the script, honestly, for her, right? Like, she was gonna say that to whoever was at the window, right? Like, it was already all planned out. She doesn't actually feel that way, but like, you know, she just had to throw that in there for the TikTok content, of course. But that's so fucking strange to say to somebody. Oh, and then to top it all off, at the end, she was like, oh, by the way, yeah, I record these things. You know, I'm kind of a big deal, you know what I'm saying? Hey, why don't you say hi to my camera? Like, what the fuck is going on? Do you know how uncomfortable that girl working there must have felt? Like, she doesn't really have a choice but to sit there and listen to you and be nice. She's at work. I think that's why they always do it to like these drive-thru workers, because they're kind of forced to sit there and listen to you. That's part of their job. And she definitely chose Starbucks on purpose, right? Because there's a lot of different drive-thrus she could have pulled up to, but Starbucks probably has one of the more safer demographics that you could pull up on. Like, if you're gonna pull up in the drive-thru and cause a scene, like, you probably want to go to Starbucks or like Chick-fil-A. You definitely don't want to go to like McDonald's or something where they just are fed up and they don't give a fuck about no professionalism or nothing. Like, they might have just jumped out the window and got you if you did that over there, you know what I mean? But Starbucks, like, okay, yeah, it might go okay. It could probably go well. So the fact that she recorded this whole interaction, hopefully it was the only time she did this. I'm assuming this was a one take and, you know, maybe she liked this one. Hopefully she wasn't going around doing this to everybody. That's fucking insane. But, you know, she recorded this, edited it, put the song over it, watched it back and was like, yeah, this is great stuff. This is really gonna get my message across. I'm not even sure what your message is supposed to be. Like, I guess like be kind to people or whatever. I'm not really sure. Listen, any act of kindness that you thought you had by, you know, buying that person's drink or whatever, that got completely canceled out by your absolutely insane behavior with this employee. You definitely did did way more bad than good with this interaction. I don't know if you know that or not. So maybe next time, we can come up with a better idea, or better yet, next time you want to do something good in the world, maybe you don't have to film it and turn it into a TikTok. That's also a possibility. I don't know if, some people have never heard of that. I'm not sure. You know what it kind of reminds me of? Like, not exactly, but a similar vibe. When those nurses, I don't know if they're still doing this, but this was like a trend for sure, like, not too long ago. But nurses would like post TikToks with like sad music, and they'd be like fake crying. They'd be like, oh my God, my patient died today. I can't believe it. It's so sad. And they're like posting it on TikTok. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man? Like, people are really just starving for some attention, man. It's crazy. Like, I just don't know what the fuck I'm seeing sometimes. So, anyways, that's pretty much it for the video, man. I don't have much else to say. Social media is a fucking disease, and it has infected a lot of people. So, I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like rating if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're not already. Follow me on Twitter. Links in the description down below. Check out my last video if you missed it. Other than that, have a good day and peace out.